The Brothers Karamazov, Book 8, Chapter 3. In Chapter 1, Dimitri has been in search of money at Samsonov's house, who was a former sponsor, former romantic interest of Grushenka. That didn't work out in Chapter 1, but Chapter 1 ended with Samsonov sending Dimitri on a wild goose chase to track down the 3,000 somewhere else, that is, with a possible client with Dimitri's father, Fyodor. And Chapter 2 had ended in even more disappointment than Chapter 1 had. Lots of time had been wasted and lots of money spent. Now Chapter 3 just ratchets this wild goose chase even more so that Dimitri finds himself in this almost comic situation. So here he is, headed to his new plan, and that is to go to Madame Holokov's house to ask her for the money. Now, on the way there, the narrator interjects himself in a way that he hasn't interjected himself a lot. In the previous book, he interjected himself to defend Alyosha's lack of faith. And now he's intervening to talk about the character of Dimitri and specifically whether he is the jealous type or not. And if he is the jealous type, what that says about whether you are a lover or not, and what that says about your discernment, your decision-making abilities. And so it does look like that Dimitri is rather jealous, and it is leading him to make foolish and not level-headed, calm, rational decisions, but rather jumping from one whim to the next. Speaking of jumping from one whim to the next, here he is on the way to Madame Holokov's, and here's what he figures. The reason she will lend him the 3,000 rubles is because she dislikes him so much. The reason she will lend him the money is because she does dislike him. Now his backwards reasoning goes like this. Well, she's a friend of Katerina Ivanova. She's never approved of Katerina and I's relationship. Therefore, she'll pay to get her friend out of the relationship with me. She's rich, and so she'll pay to get Katerina Ivanova out of that situation. Then, just before entering, Dimitri has this thought. Well, this is my only hope. There's nowhere to go from here. If this doesn't work out, I would have to rob and kill someone. So again, internally, we see Dimitri saying that he would have to rob and kill in order to get this 3,000 rubles. So then he puts that thought out of his mind because he's still hopeful that Madame Holokov will be able to lend him this money. And here she is, almost by divine providence. Two surprising things. She's not only right at the door, but she's in a good mood, and she seems to be expecting him. She has no rational reason whatsoever, but she just has this premonition that Dimitri will be there, and she seems happy to see him. And they begin to talk, and it's this highly comedic conversation. How do I know it's comedic? Because we've met Madame Holokov twice before. Way back in the second book, she's this fangirl of Zosima, and she exposes herself that she's this poser religious person. She only says... she's just one of these people who reads a headline and then just repeats what the headline says as if they have some deep knowledge of a subject, and really they know nothing. She's this superficial person who likes Zosima when Zosima is popular, but then abandons his religious teaching whenever immediately that goes out of fashion. We've seen her talk to Alyosha, and she's got no skills talking to Alyosha about his relationship with Lise, and so we know her from those two previous conversations with really our two heroes, Zosima and Alyosha. We know that she is completely lame, and so here we have Dimitri in literally this frenzied state, and he's talking to Madame Holokov, who this is playing right into her hands because she likes to fancy herself this wise wise woman. She even comically calls herself a doctor of the soul. And Dimitri says, well, if you're a doctor of the soul, then I am a frequent patient of doctors of the soul. And so she's trying to set herself up as this wise, discerning woman, and she's really not. And so all of this is really just a grand joke on the two of them by Dostoevsky. So Madame Holokov is a parody, and Dimitri isn't much better in this chapter. And so Dimitri can't wait, and so he bursts in and tells him exactly, really rather crudely, what he wants from her, that is, the money. She says, of course, but shut up, I want to talk. And Dimitri says, what, of course? You're going to give me the money? Yeah, I'm going to give you the money. Just let me talk. And so then she continues to speak, and it turns out, again, in a very comedic way, that she's not going to give him the money. But what she has is advice that's worth priceless treasure. So, of course, her advice could not be more cliche, and her advice is just as stupid as Dimitri's pursuit of money, as if anyone can just go to a gold mine and become a millionaire. That's her advice, is go become a millionaire and don't worry about women, don't worry about Grushenka or Katerina Ivanova, just go become a millionaire. And so Dimitri's saying, wait, what? You said you were going to give me the money. And she says, sit down, I have something to give you. And so his hopes are up, and she goes and gives him a necklace and puts it around his neck, and he beats his breast later at the exact point that he has beat his breast a few books ago when Alyosha has a discussion with him. Again, we said back then, and I'll say it again, that both of these events are foreshadowing Dimitri hitting his chest in just the right place. And he is completely frustrated with Madame Holokov because she ends up saying that she doesn't have the money. And furthermore, even if she had the money, she wouldn't give it to a guy like Dimitri. He's bad news. And she said, but I myself, I've been borrowing money, so I'm in no place to lend money. Even if I had it, I wouldn't give it to you. So in a very Dimitri fashion, he yells and shouts and runs out, and it even says that he spits and he beats his breast again over where she gave him the necklace. And then he walks outside and he breaks down, crying. So you can picture this quite well. Crying, shouting, breastbeating, spitting Dimitri. And then he almost literally runs into an old person. And this old lady he quickly recognizes is a servant of Samsonov, who we saw in the first chapter of this book. And so he starts to hit her up for information about Grushenka and this woman who is scared half to death, seeing this crying, spitting, breastbeating, angry Dimitri. So she gives up the information that Grushenka was there for a few minutes, just long enough to tell Samsonov something, and they both just died laughing. And then she was gone just as quick as she came. She was just there a minute. And Dimitri now tears off in this direction. And he goes to Grushenka's house to find Grushenka's servant and intimidate her and say, where is she? Where is she? And have this servant say, I don't know. And then the chapter ends with Dimitri grabbing a pestle. And if you've ever been in an authentic Mexican restaurant, and it's the kind of sit-down Mexican restaurant where they make the guacamole in front of you, or if you've ever seen fresh guacamole being prepared, someone will usually hold a little tiny stone bowl in their left hand, and then the ingredients go in the bowl, and then they'll take a stone thing, and then they'll crush up the ingredients and mix it up. And so that's what a pestle is. And so Dimitri grabs one that's maybe 6-8 inches long, and the servant immediately knows why he's grabbing it. He's not going to go make guacamole. He's going to go kill someone. He's going to brandish that thing as a weapon. And so Dimitri is just completely a man who at the moment is being ruled by passion. He's not thinking of love in the Christian sense, and he's not thinking rationally. He is neither Ivan nor Alyosha. He is being ruled completely and utterly by his passions, and that is leading him to just compound and to compile a deeper and deeper pit of mistakes that he is working himself into. And so Dimitri's foolishness in these chapters need to be remembered as he becomes undone. You can kind of go back now and look at one mistake after another, and how one mistake leads to a bigger mistake, and how he's really pinning himself down here. He's really working himself into a corner with these poor, foolish decisions he's making in these first 3 chapters of Book 8.